Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, nerds and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Hey, welcome to our brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. I'm here with the caveman, Dave Rickels. The man is a legend. He's a Bellator fighter. He's a badass. You were on a tear in Bellator. You won like 3 out of 4. And then they fucking, I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm looking at some of the guys you beat, by the way, in MMA. I was looking at doing a little deep dive into the career of Dave Rickels. And some of the guys you beat, you look at the guys you beat. You beat Sadawad, AJ Matthews, Adam Piccolotti, JJ Ambrose, Dobby Ramos, who's now in the UFC. You beat a good crop of people. I mean, you were a badass fighter. You still are a badass fighter.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Being loyal and sticking with Bellator for so long. And, I was really proud to be a Bellator fighter. And, man, getting kind of dropped in that way I lost to the current champion. That was my last loss, was Amasov, who just beat Douglas Lima. So, man, it's one of those things where, like, it burned me a little bit, but at the same time, I know my place, man. I know how good I am. So, shit, I'll fit in where I get in. You know what I mean?
Good. Well, you fit it anywhere, number one. But you're fighting bare knuckle boxing this Saturday night. You're headlining the event. It's in Wichita, Kansas, which is where you're from.
Yep.
You're fighting.
This is my city, baby.
Your city. You're fighting Julian Let Me Bang Bro Lane, who is infamous from his, part of the Ultimate Fighter. He's like, let me bang, bro. Let me bang. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Fighting in Wichita, because I remember you came to my show in Wichita. It was awesome. You came in, you were there. There was a bunch of people in wheelchairs that were a basketball team.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I think you're awesome.
You're with your wife, who was like smoking hot. It was a good time. But is it a lot of pressure? Because everybody's got to be hitting you up now for tickets, right?
Yeah, man. I've sold upwards of 25K in tickets, so I'm gonna have a big turnout. That's for sure.
Do you get to keep some of that?
Yeah, that's right. That's why I do that shit, man. I wouldn't be pushing so hard if I didn't get a cut.
Good. Well, that's cool. I mean, that's great. Now, bare knuckle, you won your first fight again, and you made that guy. I felt bad for that guy because that guy was too tough for his own good. Because you were hitting him in the stomach. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, man. Well, Julian liked to comment that I didn't finish the guy, but my God, I put a beating on him for 5 rounds. And if when I go in Saturday and I put the same kind of hands on Julian, he ain't gonna last 5 rounds.
Well, I mean, that guy, I felt bad for that guy because he was bowled over like this, and you could tell he wanted to quit, but he had too much pride. But by going that, he was giving you his, and you were just fucking hitting him. I was like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, I talked to that guy, and, honestly, I let my coaches do most of my research on my opponents and stuff like that, and then they trained me accordingly. But, he'd never been finished by strikes, so I was really hoping to be the first one, but I just couldn't get it done. But I've made some adjustments. I think, man, I just know damn well you guys are in for a hell of a bare knuckle fight this Saturday.
Now, do you like Julian Lane? Because he seems like a kind of guy that it's hard not to like. Because he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's funny. You can tell he's a nice guy. He seems like a good person. He just obviously has some mental issues, as most people do, especially in that sport. Do you like the guy or do you not like him?
Man, I'd say that I like the guy. We'll see. I told him he bet. Man, I'll go to not liking this guy if he tries to put his hands on me in weigh-ins like he did the last guy. I do have problems with that. Don't be touching me at weigh-ins. You're not fucking putting your hands on me unless I'm getting paid for it.
All right. Now, how do you prepare for bare knuckle? Like, because do you just box with small gloves?
Man, so I do conditioning, everything very similar. Like, if you can fight, 3 5-minute rounds of MMA, you can definitely do 10 minutes of bare knuckle boxing. So, I prepare physically. I get kind of the same stuff, but outside of that, man, yeah, it's almost all boxing. And I actually love hitting the mitts. I do the mitts with no gloves on.
Wow. Now, it seemed like a lot of guys, they get into bare knuckle boxing and they have a tough time adjusting because they do regular boxing. And they don't do those tricks of holding the guy's head and sort of like hockey fighting. But you didn't have that problem.
I still think, like, I know you can probably vouch for this after watching my last bare knuckle fight, but man, a lot of these guys still don't know how to fight in the clinch. And I really like to fight there. Of course, I like to fight in my range too, but making it a dirty little brawl on the inside is always fun for me.
So who's the champ in your weight class?
Thiago.
Wow. Okay. That he had
Elvis, man, I love that fight, man. Like, and Julian Lane had a good fight with him. So really that's why I picked this fight. I handpicked Julian, and I just really hope that they'll consider. I mean, I'm trying to get that title shot. You know what I mean?
Now, what do you think about the Hector Lombard?
What's he doing?
He's fighting that guy that jumped into the cage against him. That he hit.
Oh yeah, the Juggernaut or whatever. Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, tensions are high. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Like, if somebody jumps in the ring Saturday night, man, they might get smoked.
And then what's his name? Who I thought was unbeatable in bare knuckle boxing. The kid, what's his name? Who did from the Ultimate Fighter? You know what I'm talking about. He got whooped his last one. He beat everybody. He beat Chris Lieben, Dakota Cochran. There's a guy.
Oh, Dakota Cochran. Yeah, man. He's a trooper, dude. I think that's a testament to Mike Richmond. He was a longtime Bellator vet as well. He just has pretty damn precise striking. He's a lot bigger now, so obviously power has followed him as well. Because putting away Dakota Cochran is no easy feat.
No, and he did it like 9 times in the fight. I couldn't believe it because Dakota was running through everybody. I thought Dakota was like the GOAT in bare knuckle boxing, and Mike Richmond put an end to that.
A bunch of my friends have fought Dakota, and he's got pop, man. He's got power. He's one of those guys that just, if he catches you, man, it's not good.
Now, what do you think about what happened recently with Conor McGregor and the DJ from Italy?
With who?
Conor McGregor. You hear what happened? So he was at a club. First, he went to his kid's christening, basically, and then he was out partying later that night with some random DJ who had like 1 million followers, and then he broke the guy's nose. Some Italian DJ, he just punched him in the head, and then and now the guy is pressing charges against him.
Dude, all I'm saying is you're partying with fucking Conor McGregor. You're giving him booze and cocaine. Man, shit's bound to happen. You know what I mean? Like, we know how that story ends.
But it was like his friend. He just beat up his friend for no reason.
I've beat up a ton of my friends. And they get me drunk enough. And they beat me up too.
And then what do you think about Jon Jones? Do you think the UFC should cut Jon Jones for what happened or what allegedly happened? You hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about it. Man, I'm out of the game, Adam.
You get Wi-Fi.
You got to fill me in. Like, you're the inside scoop guy now.
So he was in Vegas, and he made it to the Hall of Fame for his fight with Gustafsson. And then he goes out, and he asks his wife or his fiancée for $10,000 to go to a club, to a strip club. She gave him the money. He came back at 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but his wife went downstairs, asked for a new room key, and she had like a black eye and like a busted lip or something. And the kid said, please call the cops. And he got arrested for domestic violence. He says he never hit her. She said he didn't hit her. He just pulled her hair. And now the UFC is figuring out what to do with him. They don't know
but have they been together for a long time?
Like 10 years, and then they made a video after that of them kissing each other, saying that they're,
Yeah, I feel like she's not making that shit up then. You know what I mean?
It's just one of those things where it's like, what's wrong with this guy?
How the fuck? Yeah. You think it's just, yeah, exactly. We could do this all day. Like, you're not going to get your shit together for real? Like, it's pretty unbelievable to me, but also do not hand me multiple millions of dollars. I could ruin every relationship.
Come on, you
that has
worked
ever
so fucking.
existed
You worked so hard, David Rickels. You came from the nothing. You were self-trained. You fought 30 fights in Bellator. You fought this. You fought that. You've had odd jobs left and right. You're not about to give up what you've earned. And
no, I mean you're right, man. Honestly, and at the end of the day, I'm really big on being a good man. At the end of the day, I am really big on that. I think more people should take that seriously, but some people don't.
What's crazy is like the more talent. It seems like the most talented people are the ones that are the biggest fuck ups. Maybe because they didn't have to work as hard as the other people who weren't as talented. But it's just like, come on. So this week in Bellator in Russia, Tim Johnson is fighting Fedor.
That's awesome.
Who do we like in this fight?
Who do I like? Who's going to win? Fuck, I hope Fedor, man. I'll literally never bet against Fedor. Fedor, I grew up on Pride, man. That's why I like Pride and WWF. And that's why I like my crazy walkouts and, the entertainment and this and that. But, man, Fedor was a huge part of that. We know that. So I always I would watch a Fedor knockout any day of the week. I hope it happens.
Now, what are they going to do to Tim in Russia, though? Are they going to give him, you think, the shitty treatment, the 4 o'clock in the morning wake-ups, bad room service, they're going to fuck up his car? You think they're going to try to make it seem like – or is Bellator going to be on top of that?
Yeah, I could see that happening for sure.
All right, also in the UFC this week, I don't know if you heard about what happened. So Paulo Costa is taking on
chubby Paulo Costa. I did hear about this one, man. Yeah.
So he's fighting on Saturday. Yesterday he informed everyone he's 26 pounds over. He's not going to make the weight. He says we'll do a catch weight.
He straight up said that he's not going to make weight.
Yeah, he goes I'll fight him at a catch weight at 195. To which Vettori, allegedly his manager, says no, we could do a heavyweight instead. So they went. So,
damn, that's funny how that worked out, huh?
I mean,
he probably was fat too. He was probably like, shit, I'm chubby too. Let's go.
Does Paulo Costa not want to be a fighter? I mean, the guy's had a year since he fought Adesanya. He got embarrassed.
He's drinking too much of that wine. Remember, he stay on that wine.
I mean, what do you think? You think this is a guy who's good at fighting but doesn't like it? And I mean, he's got to know these 26 pounds over 2 weeks out. He's probably 35 pounds over 2 weeks out. He's not a skinny. This is not Kenny Florian at 145, whatever he weighed. This guy has the weight to lose. What do you think is a matter of too many yes men or what?
What you talking about? Like why he missed weight?
Yeah, why is the guy coming in at 26 pounds over 5 days out?
Man, a list of a lot of reasons. I don't know. Partying too much, I don't know how much. I'm sure he gets paid pretty good too, but man, that's one of the things, man. Once you make it a little bit and you start to make a little money, it gets really hard to train like a demon you used to, like Conor McGregor is a prime example, man. And I'm sure he trains hard for his fights and stuff like that, but you cannot tell me he has the same fire in his belly, that the same fire that Conor McGregor had when he knocked out Jose Aldo. You put that on a million different fighters, bro, because it just happens, man. Like you get to a place of comfort and it's easy to fall out.
That ever happened to you?
Yes, 100%. I mean, it has, honestly. Like you get just a little too comfortable, man. Things get a little too easy. Like, it is what it is, but I have definitely not trained properly for fights.
I mean, I went to a strip club a couple times the night before big TV tapings and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe
Very similar. Very similar.
But it's crazy though. But like, so after you won the Bellator championship, was that like the peak of when you were like after you fucked off after that?
Yeah. So won the tournament. So probably a lot of people don't know, but like our local Wichita State won. They were like Final Four, which is like crazy thing for like a local, college to do around here. You know, Wichita State's like kind of on the radar now, but so they were going through it at the same time as me, going through the tournament. And like, that's kind of how my name popped because I was on every single bar right there with Wichita State. And everybody had me playing, you know, I walked out to Everybody Walked the Dinosaur. You know that song?
Yeah, open the door, get on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd walk into bars, man, and they just start playing it.
Now,
it was super dope.
Did you have
like,
a girlfriend
the
at the
DJs
time?
would like start playing the Everybody Walk the Dinosaur song. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, the tournament was a big thing for me for sure.
Now, did you have a girlfriend at the time or a wife or anyone to tell you?
Yeah, I mean, we were very serious. Yeah, I wasn't married yet, but yeah.
So you weren't having threesomes and foursomes and stuff like that.
No, not yet. That's when you get a little bored in a relationship. That's, you know what I mean? That was still early. We still had that fire.
Got it. Of course. Got it. All right, Grant Dawson, Rick Glenn.
Grant Dawson, who?
And Ricky Glenn.
I don't know who Ricky Glenn is. I do know
fighter.
Grant Dawson.
Yeah. Grant's
And he's a
badass.
beast. He's a beast. Grant Dawson is a beast. You know, honestly, I actually hope Grant watches this, but man, I've been watching him for a long time because he's in Kansas City, and I kind of doubted him at first. I was like, he's just kind of a grinder and wrestler, but man, that kid is way more than that. He's something special. I can't wait to see where he goes.
Yeah, he's 16-1. Another big
That's
fight,
legit.
Another big fight coming up October 30th. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira.
Man, when's the last time Glover got a win?
I mean, he's won like 5 in a row. He beat
Has he?
Yeah, he beat Thiago Santos, and that's last year. He beat Anthony Smith. Before that, he beat Nikita Krylov. Before that, he beat Kudalaba. He didn't beat Carl Robertson. His last loss was against Corey Anderson in 2018. I don't know if your face is frozen because shock or if it's the Wi-Fi. Can you hear me? Hello? Ah, shit. Hello, Dave Rickels. I guess we got to start over. Sorry, it's ducking up. Fuck. All right, well, I'll just, I guess, pick it up from here. You're frozen. All right, so you are frozen. All right, so I guess he's back. All right, I think Glover's going to win this. I don't know why. First of all, I picked against him the last 5 fights, so that's probably why I think he's going to win. And then, yeah, I think I like Glover. I like his story. I think he seems like a nice guy, too. So does Jan Blachowicz. I mean, they both seem like good guys. A lot of these guys, though, are from different countries. Well, not really Glover. He's been in here for a long time. But a lot of these guys, they seem like nice guys because I can't understand them. It's like anything else. You ever hear someone like really quiet? And you're like, oh, that person's really smart, or what a kind soul, or they're awesome and they talk, and you're like, this is the worst human being I've ever seen, or this guy's horrible, or the dumbest person ever. So that could be the case as well. Who knows? Let's see. So I'm going to try to get him to jump back if you can. All right, here we go. So anyway, just so you know, we had Nate to train also scheduled. He texted me fucking 4 over. Oh, his car overheated. His car overheated. Okay. All right. Damn, take care of that. Obviously take care of that. All right. So his car overheated. So I'm waiting for Gerald Meerschaert to come back on the show. He's supposed to come on. Nate's a trained. His Wi-Fi sucks. So, all right. Dan Hooker is fighting Islam Makhachev in that event. Man, I hope Dan Hooker wins. I like Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, by the way, came on the podcast, by the way, and wanted to prove that pulling guard was the dumbest thing you could do in MMA. And pretty sure he proved it. All right, here comes Rickels. His car overheated. All right, so going to be a blast and great connections. Oh, that's someone else. Someone said, okay, here we go. Boom. So here I am. I'm talking to myself. Yes. So I think Rickels is back. His car overheated. Is your car okay?
Hey, we're back in action, folks. We're back.
So Glover this year won 5 in a row.
Yeah, well, Glover's has he been knocking people out again?
He's been wearing them out. He's been like taking a beating, coming back, and submitting people. So
I don't know, man. This man might be ready for something.
Who's the best guy that you ever trained with, by the way?
Best guy that I ever trained with?
Yeah.
Every single time I get a fucking phone call that tries to cut me off. Best guy I ever trained with was Corey Sandhagen.
Oh, really?
Yep. I mean, like, not size-wise, obviously, like, but I just knew as soon as I trained with him, I was like, this kid's going to be special. There's something special about him. Like, the way he would put together his striking and stuff like that. I just knew. You know what I mean? It was just a feeling.
How long ago was this?
Shit. Before he was in the UFC.
So he walked into a gym in Wichita, Kansas?
Nah, I was doing most of my camps over at Team Elevation.
Oh, so you were in Colorado. Corey Sandhagen walks in. He's 135, 145, and you're just looking at him, watching him, going, holy shit.
Yeah, because I was fighting at 55 for some of these fights, and we were pretty close. He was fighting at 45, I think, at that time. I don't know. What is he? Is he fighting 35 now?
Yeah, 35.
Yeah. But, so we were pretty close in weight, sort of. I was a huge 55er. But, I don't know, man. I just knew as soon as we started sparring and stuff like that, like the way he picked things up, he was so humble and, like, ready to learn and this and that. It's cool when you see a guy turn the corner. Like, the only thing that I felt that he lacked at that time was, like, the killer. You know what I mean? The killer instinct. And, like, you'll see some of these guys where they got all the skills in the world, but they can never flip that. I'm in kill mode now. And it's really cool to see him flip that switch. And then probably funnest was same thing, Team Elevation, man, was just Matt Brown, man. Me and Matt Brown went to fucking war, dude. We just sparred like a handful of times, but just specifically the first time, because there's an ego, obviously. Like, I don't even know if he knew who I was, but shit, I knew who Matt Brown was. I was like, I'm going to get his ass. Well, we put on a hell of a show for everyone to watch. And, that was just
Now, when you and Matt Brown are training, right? Now, is it like – because, like, when I used to wrestle, we'd always go 100% in wrestling. There was no – but we're not knocking anybody out. So
right.
There's certain guys that you're like, okay, I'm going to go 70%, sort of like a mutual agreed upon thing. And then like –
yeah, usually it's kind of like a non-spoken agreement is I'm going to hit you as hard as you hit me. But, yeah, 70% is pretty basic. Like, you're not trying to push so much power that you could drop somebody, but you want them to know when they're in danger.
So when you go with Matt Brown and you're throwing 100%.
We were going 100%. It was a full-on fight, man, and it was super cool because I was still like, I don't know, I wasn't new to Bellator or anything like that, but I was new to the Team Elevation and stuff like that, so I was still trying to earn my stripes and this and that. And he just right after sparring, he turned to me and he goes, "That fight should have been on TV." And I was like, "Oh shit, hell yeah!"
Now, were you guys going for the finish?
No, I mean it was like sock and bop and robots, man. We were just beating the hell out of each other. One of those ones that like, you watch on TV and you can't believe either one is still standing. And it was a shame that it just happened in the gym. And some of the best fights do, man. A lot of people don't realize, like, some of the best fights happen right in your local gym.
And there was no coach that was like, easy, or no, nobody said that.
Nah. Because I was getting ready. I can't remember who I was getting ready for, but we just did three 5-minute rounds, man, just like a normal fight, and fucking went at it. So, there was no easy. There was no nothing. Like, I was trying to drop him, he was trying to drop me, and those are fun times for sure.
Now, everybody always says that trains with Kelvin Gastelum. They can't believe it. Like, this guy goes pretty light in the gym. He doesn't really go very hard. He kind of shows up late. Maybe he was a little lazy. This is the old. I mean, not anymore, but that was the thing. Then he would get into a fight and just knock people the fuck out. Like, he would just be
right.
Like, this is a different guy. Mike Pyle, the opposite. They would say Mike Pyle, you couldn't even come close to him in the gym, and then he would get the big lights, and sometimes he would not do what he did in the gym. Were there ever guys that you train with that you were like, man, this guy's going to get fucking killed, and then he goes out there and you're like, what? Who's that guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's actually a guy on the Bare Knuckle show coming up, man. Like, he's fighting this weekend. He was 15-0 as an amateur. He's had a rough start to his pro career, but his name's Braxton Everett. And, man, he trains like dog shit. But he's, like, just tough enough to, withstand some punches and dish them back out. Like, he's gritty and game. And, like, we know that goes a long way in this sport. And, so then you get the opposite people too, man. Like the gym heroes, man, the guys that you could not beat in the gym. But as soon as the lights are on, they look like, you know what I mean? It looks like they've never even trained before. I've met 1,000 people like that, man. That's the truth. There's 1,000 people like that should have made it to the UFC, was good enough, but couldn't perform at the right times.
That sucks. I used to have really bad OCD where I would always worry that I was that guy. So I would, like, for my wrestling matches, I would call up my teachers at school, be like, by the way, I took 3 desserts, or went to this, like, strict boarding school. I would, like, apologize to anyone that I fucked over, and just get everything, just clean up my whole conscience so that I have it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
So
that's a real truth, though, man. There's actually real truth to that, though, man. Like, if you don't have a good, clear mind going into your fight where you feel like, you're going through whatever with a relationship or this or that, like, a lot of people, personally, I have to center my mind. I have to be 100% here when I fight. And I think everyone else is like that. You get your fluke guys, man, that could probably about to say beat up their girlfriend like Jon Jones and then go fight, but I just couldn't, like, I wouldn't be able to do that with a clear conscience. You know what I mean? Like, and that would weigh on me in the fight. So having a good, clear mind and feeling, dude, that's why you train so hard. Most of the time we're in shape 6 weeks out. We could do the fight, this and that. We're toned, but you train so fucking hard so that you put yourself through the ringer. You know that you did everything you could to be in there and give it your best.
Now, by the way, Corey Sandhagen, you bring him up. He's fighting for the title against Peter Yan on that same card of Glover versus. So who do we like in that fight? We like Sandhagen, obviously, right?
I'm going to have to go with Sandhagen, man. I think he's going to upset Yan. Obviously, Yan's a huge favorite probably. But I'm going with the upset, man. I just think there's something special about Corey, and I think he's going to show it off.
And then also Dan Hooker is fighting Islam Makhachev. That should be.
Ooh. Okay, so I Corey Sandhagen, I trained with Dan Hooker at the same damn time. Only time I've ever been dropped in training and sparring was by Dan Hooker.
Only time ever. I mean, body shots, but body shot. I'm talking about, like, this dude kneed me straight up. He threw that, like, vertical straight up knee, dinked my chin. Like, wow. I did the quick sit down where you get back up and you don't even know you got sat down, but you keep fighting. He was looking at me funny. Did he just say, calm down?
Oh, yeah. I kept fighting. Like, I didn't even know I got dropped. He was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm okay. What's up? You suck. Nah, I didn't say any of that, but I was like, you know, when he sparred pretty. I mean, a lot of the sparring gets pretty intense when you're talking about high level fighters, man. Like that's just what happens. But you know, and I was trying to best him, and he was trying to best me, and he dinked me in the chin with a high knee, and yeah, that's the only time I've ever really been wobbled in training.
So he's doing this fight on like I think a month notice, a quick turnaround. You think he beats Islam?
Probably just to get out of New Zealand or wherever the fuck he's at.
It's fucking lockdown.
That's some bullshit. Yeah. I see all the bullshit they're putting him through, man. That shit is crazy, dude.
That's true. You know, I didn't even think about that. And then I think the following week
he's probably trying to sneak his. He's probably trying to sneak his whole family out of goddamn New Zealand. I heard they're moving his gym.
Really? Oh, really? Out of New Zealand?
Moving City Kickboxing.
To where?
America.
Like where? Like where?
I don't know. I don't think they've come up with a city yet, but
that's gonna be crazy. So they're gonna house all the people.
That's awesome.
They're gonna house the New Zealand people.
I think so. I think. Well, I think Israel Adesanya. I know he said something about it, and Daniel Hooker. They've been training together for a long, long time. So yeah, I heard that they're uprooting City Kickboxing and moving it to the U.S.
I'll tell you what, their wrestling's about to be amazing. You know, because it's just that's like the one thing they probably is lacking is wrestling. So you know, you get all those all Americans that come over there. What's up, people? I got some really good news. Okay, we are back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of the basketball season, and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Yep, I'm talking about Bet Online. Bet Online remains your number one spot for the basketball and football action this season. You got to head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code CLNS50 to receive your bonus from basketball, football, baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC. Boom! Right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait. Take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, Colby Covington versus Usman. That's the following week at the Garden. Who do we like in this one?
What do you think? I'm going to let you ride on this one. Who do you got?
Man, I mean, like, they're so evenly matched. And a part of me really wants Colby. Colby's a friend of mine. He's a good dude. He comes on the show all the time. I was a Colby friend and fan back then. Do I like all his antics? Absolutely not. Do I wish he would tone down the rhetoric?
I love all of it.
Sure. Usman,
just because it's so over the top. I love it, dude. Like if you can't like understand that that's entertainment, like what the fuck have you been watching? That's like being mad at Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, I don't know if he has to say that Matt Hughes got hit by a train. If the train's coming, so Matt Hughes get off the track. I mean, after the guy just got hit by a train. I mean, you know.
I didn't know he said that.
Things like, you know, Khabib wears his girlfriend on his head so he can fuck it later. I mean,
man. You know, like, yeah, dude.
Okay,
I don't. Yeah. Some of those jokes you probably have to separate yourself from, but yeah, man. I mean, he's going out on a limb.
I mean, a notch down. But you know, that being said, he's been a loyal guy to me, whereas Usman sort of like used to come on the show, then you know, back in the day, let's do stuff together. Then he hit a point, and then you can't get to him. So whatever. That being said,
my only fear.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Your only fear is what?
My only fear in that fight is that Usman, man, okay, so I like to call it the invincible stage that fighters get into. You know, like your Anderson Silvas and Conor McGregor had his little run where he was invincible. And I kind of think Usman might be there, man.
He might be, but he's also not at the same place he was when he got to that phase. You know, like he actually moved to Colorado. You know, like he left his gym when he fought Gilbert Burns. He's become a big star. He was over at that gym in Florida. Then he moved to Colorado. Whereas Colby, all Colby does is think about this fight. I mean, literally, he wakes up in the morning to when he goes to bed, and he thinks about this fight. Like he's obsessed. Even when I hung out with him one time back in the day, he was still pissed about the Warley Alves fight, and that was like 9 fights ago. And he was on like an 8-fight winning streak. He's just that fucking dude. He's obsessed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many that.
I rewatched it was just playing or whatever, and I rewatched their first fight, and man, people really sleep on how good Colby is, though.
But Usman has better power and has better striking.
Yeah.
And wrestling even. I think Colby has better cardio. I'm here with Gerald Meerschaert. You know Dave Rickels. You guys know each other?
Not personally, but I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
By the way, so he's fighting bare knuckle boxing this Saturday night against Julian Lane. It's the main event on BKFC, which is the best app I've ever. Out of all the apps, it's $5 a month, and you get all the fights.
Can't beat that, dude.
You get all the fights for $5 a month. It makes no sense how I don't understand their business model, because they're giving people millions of dollars. They're getting Paige Van Zandt, Rachel Ostovich. They're getting rappers like Blueface. They're offering. I don't know. It's $5 a month. I don't know where the money's coming from. I don't want to ask.
Yeah.
But are you getting well paid?
Drugs. It's definitely drugs.
And,
drugs. Yeah, they're funneling. They're funneling some shit, man. Oh.
So, Meerschaert, who do you like in that fight, by the way? The Colby Covington Usman rematch.
I don't see how Colby wins that fight. He's really – I was listening to Dave. Colby's really good. He's got a motor forever. I think he has a much better chance if he approaches it a little differently. Maybe incites more takedown, grappling exchanges. Maybe not even so much to try to get Usman on his back, right? But at least make him tired and kind of take away from his striking offense. But, at least to what we've seen so far out of the both of them, they didn't really wrestle, right? So maybe Colby can take him down. Maybe Colby gets on top and rides him out to a decision victory. But I didn't see that being a path, And again, Colby didn't pursue it that much, so it's still a possibility. But judging off what I've seen so far, I don't see a way he could win that fight unless he has, in fact, not showed us every wrinkle in his game as far as competing against Usman. But I think it has the potential to be much more competitive.
Well, he says, he was at American Top Team before that, and then now he's at MMA Masters. And the reason that Masvidal got knocked out by Usman is because they told him to keep his hands low to protect him from Usman's wrestling, and that's why he kept getting clipped. Where now he keeps his hands high because he has a better striking coach. You think there's any truth to that?
I'm not in the room with him, and I mean, really, Masvidal's a pretty accomplished striker, so I think he would kind of know what he's doing in general. But it seems like some shit you just made up on the fly right now.
No, that's what he told me. He also said that Masvidal hates him because they used to take 2 girls back, and then Masvidal would finish early, and Colby would keep going, and Masvidal would get jealous of his cardio when it came to fucking, and that's why they hate each other.
That sounds true. That does sound true, though.
I can believe that.
So Meerschaert, you had your last fight. You were a 6-1 underdog. They put you up against these guys from Dagestan. They're like 30-0, and nobody was everyone was counting you out. Everybody, not me, but everybody else. The first round though, you got rocked pretty bad. What were you thinking in that first round?
The first one, it probably looked worse than it was because I was staying so high in my stance. He definitely clipped me good, but I think I was probably even rocked worse, in the Duran fight. It was just happened to be that I was trying to stay super high and run in. So part of it was I got cracked, and part of it was, I just didn't have good balance. So it just made it look so much worse. But I got hit good, but I never really had too much double vision. If I did, it went away quick, and it was just a matter of okay, I expected, not that you should let people hit you, but I expected that I'd have to get a little sauce on the apron for this fight, so to speak. He's a really good striker. at some point he's going to hit me in the face. We all agree to a fist fight. To not think that that's going to happen is kind of stupid, right? So I was like, all right, he hit me a little bit. I adjusted my game. I got a little more into my X guard, and I started walking him down. And, you know, when I started landing my own punches, then he realized, like, oh, shit, this guy can actually punch too. And it made my, made my life a whole lot easier.
The look on your face was not this again. Did you have it not this again thought?
No, it was, you know, like I said, I kind of expected that if I had some trouble, it would be early. It would be, you know, and like I said, I was kind of running in and I got clipped. So, you know, I wasn't expecting to fail, but I was like, all right, he's probably going to catch me with some decent shots because, as everyone likes to point out, I'm not exactly the fastest person on earth. So kind of requires me to do things a little bit differently, but.
Well, the second round, you got the takedown and you got the choke. I was going ballistic. It was like one of those movies where the bully gets a shit beat, the kid gets a shit beat out of him, and it comes back in the second. How pumped were you? How excited were you?
I was really pumped. And it's funny because everyone points out the second round. Honestly, what I felt in the fight, I know, you know, whatever. It looks like what it looks like. But at the end of the first round, or even in the first round when he says that I forget if it was like the nut shot or an eye poke, which the eye poke, that was 100% his fault, by the way. I tried to parry his hand, and he literally ran into my finger. And I was like, all right. But there was one of those where, like, they were like, oh, everyone said that I needed to break. At that point in my head, I was like, he's getting tired. He's breaking because I'm up in his shit the whole time. I could feel him starting to be like, fuck, like starting to panic. So I was actually wanting it to keep going. So I felt him breaking before the end of the first. But, yeah, in the second, I was like, all right, fuck that. He's tired. I'm all over this guy. And, that, you know, I was freaking pumped for that because, yeah, he hadn't lost him, like, since 2016. Undefeated in his last, like, 13 fights or something stupid like that. So it was a great feeling.
It was awesome. Pettis won big on you. Your teammate put, what, like $300 on you or something, or won like $2,000?
He placed a few different bets. I think he won significantly more than that. I wouldn't say he has a gambling problem, but he was definitely deep in it that night and it paid off for him.
Dude, I was so happy for you. But then now they're giving you another fucking undefeated Russian. Well, right?
Yeah, something similar. Apparently, I'm stuck in the Cold War, and I'm only allowed to fight people that, like, train in countries that have been in, like, some sort of civil war for the past 30 years.
Do you think there's like they have like meetings, so like we have to, and they're like your face is on the wall back in Dagestan or something, like we have to get this guy and somebody steps up and then you take him down? Like why do they only give you guys from Dagestan?
I don't know if they like it's because they like me or dislike me or what the deal is, but it definitely seems like I'm getting railroaded to a very specific type of fighter. Because like I stepped in short notice to fight Hamzat, and that fucking went to shit. And then after that, we're like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll just keep giving you every single Russian or foreigner we have, and it's going to be sink or swim. So now, of course, I got another guy. His last name's Magomedov, which, you know, wonder where he's from. And I'm sure after this, they'll, like, call up Khabib or Fedor Emelianenko and be like, hey, you got any Ader peppers? We got this fucking hick in Wisconsin we want to get beat up, and he just keeps winning.
Dave, any advice for him against Magomedov?
Beat his ass? I don't know.
That's right. USA, baby.
That's right.
Meerschaert, any advice for Dave? He's fighting Julian Let Me Bang Bro Lane this week. Any advice for him?
Yeah, I think there's like a rule, and I'm pretty sure Julian Lane might have crossed it. Because if you have a neck tattoo or a face tattoo of bare knuckle boxing, usually you get knocked the fuck out. So convince him to get a neck tattoo or something, and you'll have a big advantage.
I've seen that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to smack him in the face, man. It'll be fun.
Now, Meerschaert, every time you come on and you tell me that somebody's going to beat Jake Paul, they lose. Your teammates are 0-2. What happened with Woodley? That's your boy. That's my boy. What happened?
I guess, you know, took his foot off the gas a little bit, I guess. Is the only thing I can think of. And honestly, that one, it depends on how you score, like, criteria, right? Like, if you're looking at boxing style points, he got outpointed. But if you're thinking about it like a fight, he was never in any danger, and he, like, almost dropped him through the ropes. So I can see that, but on the same hand,
still bothers me, man.
Oh yeah, tell me, dude. Tyron's like my personal friend.
That still bothers me, man.
If it was me and I saw him flinging through the ropes, I would have fucking started throwing elbows or something. But I'm not gonna be mad at Tyron for not screwing up the bag. So I get it.
If I
Now, Dylan Dennis said that there's a contract.
I'm throwing knees, bro. I'm fucking throwing knees. I got you.
Dylan Dennis said Tyron had a contract saying he's not allowed to knock him out. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't know why anyone listens to anything Dylan Dennis says ever. Like, at first he was like Connor's grappling coach or something, exactly. Which is not even true because Connor comes from SBG, which is predominantly a grappling gym. And then I don't know when's the last time he even worked with Connor? And like people just keep he'll hook two guys that are like 0-35 in Bellator, and people still keep talking to him. I don't understand. I feel like this is a media created problem almost. Like he wouldn't get so much attention if people didn't keep interviewing him.
No, 100%. But I mean, he basically like took on the part. A lot of times people want to be like, oh, you hate him and then you love him, right? You're like, oh, this is a guy you love to hate. And it's like fun. But he's just a guy you love to hate. Like he's not coming out of this. Like there's nobody that likes him anymore. Like it's one like if like you hate the guy but he keeps winning, you're like, okay, fine. I hate the guy but I respect his fight.
Hey, whoa. You said he keeps winning again. He can't even name the people he fought. He hasn't fought in like 6 years or something stupid like that. I can't even remember the time he did when's the last time he did a grappling match even? Like that's his sport.
How does he make money, this guy?
I meets a guy in a back alley for $20. I have no
idea. I like it. So we talked about the fights this weekend, and Paulo Acosta missing weight. He's 26 pounds over on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Does this guy want to fight? I mean, it seems like he doesn't even want to be there. Like he lost his last fight. He got embarrassed. Okay, everyone loses a fight. He had a bad night. You're 6 months out, 5 months out, 4 months out. 26 pounds. I mean, missing weight by 2 pounds, 3 pounds, even 4 pounds. I'll give it to you. 26 pounds over and going, you know what? We're going to fight at 195. You can't do that. You can't do that. And now it's going to be at heavyweight?
I thought you couldn't, but apparently you can, I guess. I don't know. So there's been one time in I'll stick to this, I've never missed weight. The one time in my career that I knew I wasn't going to make weight, I let them know 2 or 3 weeks in advance. And that was when I moved up from 70 to 85. I was like, hey, look, I still want to fight. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know what to tell you. If we can still fight, I could maybe make a catch of, X, Y, or Z, but I'm definitely not going to make 170. And we figured it out. But that was 2 or 3 weeks in advance. I didn't show up the week of and be like, hey, by the way, I'm in like, a whole 2 different weight classes. And this is, my friend actually asked me about this, and it's a unique situation, right? Because people started hating on Costa. His Twitter game is pretty good. He's actually pretty funny on Twitter. But other than that, it's like he lost to Izzy, and he hasn't had much steam since then. And he was getting shit about getting the hair plugs or whatever. And then you got Vettori, who's like talking a lot of shit, but people are ragging on him, and he just lost also. So now you got 2 people who need this fight, right? They're not necessarily fan favorites anymore. They don't have the build-up that they did. So now you're in a position where Costa knows he needs a good fight. Marvin knows he needs a main event fight as well and needs to look good. So they're both in a weird spot where, like, they both know they need to fight, and Marvin's kind of got to bend to Costa because if he just fights a random replacement, he's not going to get the bump he wants, right? So he kind of needs Costa to play ball with him. So now they're in this weird spot where they're kind of being a catch weight, although I still understand when Costa was like, no, we're going to agree to a catch weight, so I'm not going to lose any of my purse. And it's like, no, motherfucker, you did sign a contract that said 185. You're making a new one, yes, but you still violated the contract that you signed. That's still violating the previous contract. Like, if they don't make him lose money, that's on them. But to say that he's like, no, we're just going to do a new one. It's like, no, you already signed something.
Because then if Vettori doesn't weigh in at 185 and he weighs at 195, does he get the purse? Because he didn't make the weight either, but he didn't have to make the weight. So
right, exactly. So I feel, and then that comes to that question. Like, I'm not saying they should necessarily give it to Vettori since it, if they agree, say they agree at 95. Okay, great. I don't think giving Vettori any money is necessary because, again, they agreed on a different weight, right? But I would still think you should penalize Costa somehow because you came into this waiting till the last minute or just about telling them that, like, hey, because that's about as close as you can get to a fight and let them know that you're not going to make weight but not lose any of your purse or, like, not miss weight, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying?
When I wrestled in college, they had because my year, 3 kids died. 2 kids died losing weight because we were all doing stupid shit like triple rubber suits and shivering off weight and spitting in a cup and freezing. It was all bad. I was a D3 with no nutritionist, no team, nobody gave a fuck. But
you were D3?
Yeah.
Wow.
Until 2 kids, I got a scholarship D1, but I ended up going D3. Tom Ryan gave me a scholarship over at Hofstra. But then when 2 kids died, they're like, wait a minute, because they had rubber suits in the shower with the steam up. One kid brought a bike in there and it passed out and died. And then they had a thing where you can't be within, I think, 6% body fat or 5%, whatever they're saying. You think the UFC should do something like that?
Honestly, I think they should kind of adopt what the ONE FC has done and do a hydration test. So they pretty much told everybody, hey, look, whatever weight class you've been fighting at, we're going to make you move up 1 weight class. So for everybody across the board, and we're going to do a hydration test. And, like, you can't really – I remember I talked to Askren about it. I was like, well, is there a way to fake that? He's like, well, you could sweat out a bunch of weight, but then you'd have to drink like a gallon of water, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So it's like not really a way to fake how hydrated you are. So if you can, I'd be making 205. I could safely diet down to that and be fully hydrated. It is what it is. I still wouldn't be the biggest guy, but it would be fine. And then guys like Costa, if he's 211 right now and he's actually been training, chances are he couldn't make even 205 with the hydration test. So then, you got to bump up. And then, maybe even add a weight class between 205 and, between 205 and heavyweight and maybe a 195 class because it's a big spread, right? So I think that would be the easiest way. Or the only other alternative is have USADA, when they come to check on us, do random weight checks. And if you're not within a certain percentage of your weight class, within reason, unless you've been like, it was my birthday last weekend and I was, just fucking eating and drinking everything in sight. And it's like a once in a while thing, you get a certain amount of strikes. But as long as you're generally within that weight, because it's your job to stay in shape as a fighter, then figure it out that way. One of those 2 things I think should happen.
Yeah, they should say within 2 weeks you can't be within 15 pounds or, 10 pounds. But then people are going to have a huge problem with that because there's people that can lose 19 pounds in a day or something. There's always going to be those guys. But
right, which is why I think the hydration test is probably the safest because you can't fake being hydrated. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, McGregor beating up a DJ, an Italian, punching him in the nose. First of all, he's not even dropping anyone anymore. He's just fucking hitting them. They're walking away, these guys. Your thoughts on McGregor? Why is it that these guys get to a point, the Jon Jones, the McGregors, they're the best in the world or top 3 in the world, and they just can't get it together? Like, Meerschaert, talk to me.
I don't know. I don't know if it's too much yes, man. I don't know if it's too much money. Hey, maybe I'll get $100 million and I'll start slapping the shit out of everybody. I have no idea. I don't live that life. I got too much like actual real world problems going on. So I don't know. And luckily I have friends that.
Yeah.
No, Duke would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he slapped me across the face first. You know what I'm saying? Like this. He's like an old school coach like that where, I would get checked real quick if I started on some ridiculous shit like that.
So you think Duke would just like Conor McGregor or Jon Jones is in your gym? You think at a certain point he just lets you guys go? He just says, "Fuck it, you're someone else's problem. I'm not gonna do this."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Duke, even if it started getting close to that, not even just Duke, but Coach Scott Cushman. You know, I see him all the time. He goes fast for me. He's another one of the integral parts. If not Duke, Cush would definitely be like, "Hey, you need to pull your head out of your ass. I'm gonna slap shit out of you." He's like, I would never even be able to get to that point in my life. And on top of that, I got the best friends in the world because they will still talk shit to me to my face and be like, you know, it gives you a nice reality check because, you know, even after like my last win and stuff, it's really good. And like they're my biggest supporters, you know what I'm saying? And they would never say a negative thing about me. But then when I see them, they're like, you know, you still ain't shit right. You know, I still remember when you started off and you were a bitch and got beat up all the time. So it's like I have too many things in place to prevent me from my ego inflating like that I would ever like have the time or energy or mindset to do that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, your team has never had a problem like that, and you've had some amazing guys run through Rufus. But there's never been the issue of you, Bilal. I mean, Askren, Pettis, some of the guys that were there. There's never been that like, oh, this dude's out of control. Certain teams they don't have that. You know,
right?
I mean, I think Jack and Winklejohn they're great coaches, but it does seem like they let certain guys have different rules than other guys, and it seems like that's a recipe for disaster. You know, when you say
yeah,
guys all have to be in by 9 o'clock, you know, you're the best guy on the team. You can come in whenever you want. Team's gonna fall apart. It's gonna be bad.
Right. Yeah, we've had issues before we've let people go. So it's not like it's never happened. But I'm the same man. I think, you know, we're in Wisconsin, Midwest in general, very blue collar. Like, you know, I make money fighting. It's a different kind of job, right? But I'm pretty busy, and I kind of live that lifestyle more. So where like I don't have time for all that. Like, you know, I'm dropping and picking up my kid. I got a rental property I got to take care of. I got our own house. We got shit right now in the basement I got to get replaced. Like, you know, my wife, you know, she works full time, very successful herself. So I got more than enough on my plate. I think keeping yourself busy definitely helps, but you know, it's never that. I've never lived that lifestyle where I want to, you know, get like a fucking Ferrari or whatever and like all this nice stuff and just kind of hang out and go party. Like I never really had that phase in my life.
Tell Woodley about that. He's buying his fucking baby mama's new husband's houses and shit. Like, and the tattoo. Why did you let him get the tattoo?
Hey, supporting. I'm not going to talk about the tattoo, but the other part, that's just supporting the family and like building your people around you. That's a good thing. I'm not saying nothing about the tattoo.
Six cars and like 4 houses. Like, come on, Tyrant. Like. He's too nice. He's too nice of a guy. I like Tyron a lot. Like he's one of my favorite people. I just think that he needs somebody. He needs that Jiminy Cricket around them to be like, listen, man, this fucking guy. This guy's bad news. This guy's not looking out for you. This guy just wants this. You don't need to fucking stay away from that chick. That chick's bad. You know.
Now, to be fair, the chick thing, I'm not going to talk about that here, but to be fair, Tyron is like one of the hardest working people I know. Every time I see him, he's telling me about like, you know, a Netflix deal he's trying to get done, music stuff he's trying to get done. He's got his hands in a lot of different pots.
Yeah, I know.
And he's always trying to accomplish something. So I would say that's definitely better than going out clubbing and slapping DJs and old dudes and shit like that.
100%. You're absolutely right. I don't understand McGregor at all. I don't get it. He was like hanging out. He was at his kid's christening like earlier that day. And he was hanging out with the DJ. And the DJ's girlfriend thought they were just wrestling. They're having fun. And he cracked him in the face. You know, I mean, look, I've hung out with MMA fighters before where like all of a sudden they'd start wrestling each other or they'll come up and be like, and I'm like, ah. So maybe the guy was being a little too rough, and Connor just let one go and didn't. But come on, dude. Like what? I mean, machine gun. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, Dana White, man, I give Dana a lot of credit because those phone calls must be like, he did what? That's hard. That's hard. But the thing is, the guy he was a plumber. Like, I could see like that quarterback. Remember that quarterback that was like Johnny Football, but he came from like oil money.
Johnny Manziel, yeah.
And so he didn't even need football. He was just like good at it. So when he fucked up, he was like, I don't give a fucking what do I care? Like, or even Gina Carano. I like Gina Carano, but like I think her dad was a football player. Her uncle was the mayor. So like when she loses Star Wars deals, she's probably just like, fuck it. How much money do I need? Like I have this money, But a guy like me, personally, the way I am is I remember what it was like not having negative $909 in my account and having to look through my couch for quarters and pennies to eat dinner on Christmas. Like, I remember those fucking days, and I hated those days. I remember just having anxiety all fucking day because I knew checks were bouncing, and I was getting collection shit in the mail.
Absolutely.
And I had to call up my friend to borrow $1,000 for rent and fucking this. I remember that, and I never want to go back there. My wife doesn't know what that's like. My wife says that a little bit, but she spends money, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, but McGregor's got to know that. Oh,
absolutely. So you would think, right? Because I'm in the same boat as you. Like I've lived that life. I've had to struggle. It came very late for me, my ability to like have that sort of financial security. But again, the only comparison I can think of is like, so what we're talking about, like we're all right? But McGregor has like generational wealth if he's smart about it. That would make me think of like a Mike Tyson who came from, not a lot, and then all of a sudden, all this, because on top of that, like, let's be honest, I'm not even like a D-level celebrity. Like, I'm lucky if 2 people like notice me walking by. So like, add on top of not just the like millions, tens of millions of dollars you have at your disposal, but now you have this ridiculous amount of fame and people are going to act very, very differently around you. Like, basically all at once. Now, the work to get there didn't come all at once. But all the fame and the money came pretty freaking quick. He was building a name for himself in, what was that, Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
But that's like local, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, he's like, an international superstar. And like he played the part very well. But I think it's not just the money. It's that spotlight that comes with it. It affects people differently. And like, again, I can't speak to that. I'm, clearly – my neighbors know who I am. They think it's cool, but they even had to look me up. It's not like I walk down the street and people are asking for my autograph. I'm lucky if I get a couple people asking for my autograph when I'm at a freaking fight. I had a guy when I was in Tampa fighting. He thought I was freaking Andrew Sanchez. Like I'm like the white dude that looks like every other white dude. So I'm not. I have no idea how that goes.
Yeah. No, you're right. And the fact that he's been losing. Now he's been embarrassed by the whole world time and time and time again, and he gets shit on the computer all Friday. Right. You're right. And who knows what the DJ might have been like, oh, yeah, you're going to beat me up just like you did Poirier your last fight or something. He might have said something snarky and then cracked. So,
right.
That guy probably was on cocaine too. So,
Right. Well, and it's unfortunate for fighters, right, because social media has to be part of our job if you're going to play that role. You know what I'm saying? And the UFC wants people they can market. Other sports, you don't really need.
No.
Do that. That's an extra thing.
But for fighting, any kind of showmanship, you can't just do radio interviews anymore, like TV spots. You got to be, I have to have a freaking Instagram. I have to have a Twitter. And honestly, I probably wouldn't at this point in my life, but, you try your best not to read some of the comments, but, you get sucked into a rabbit hole, especially if you got, like, a lot of time on your hands.
What fight you had out with the bad against what's the game? Chimaev, you handled it so fucking well. And I was like, I don't know, you did it so well. But it was like, but the fight before that, when you fought that Daniel Cormier in the 4th grade, that guy, the guy that was like the wrestler.
Deron Wynn, yeah.
Deron Wynn.
Yeah.
And he was like fucking you up, and I'm like, no, wait. I'm sitting there going, wait, you guys don't understand. Everyone's like, well, Deron Wynn's got. I'm like, you guys do not understand what's about to happen. And then you won, and it was a big win for you. And I'd like, but it's just, and everyone's on your dick. And then you lose to Chimaev, and everyone's like, you suck. And then you win this one. Everyone's like, you're the greatest ever. I mean, it's gotta be, it's so up and down, which sucks because it's like, and that's what I hate about MMA fans. I mean, like the baseball game, the Yankees lose a game, everyone in the world's like, whatever, they'll win the next game or something. Whereas like you guys, all of a sudden, there's like a whole of people that are just like on Sean O'Malley's dick. And then O'Malley loses, and they're like, oh, they're on this guy's dick. And then they're on Ortega's dick. And then they're on Cody Nolan's dick. And then they're on – it's like this – it's like high school where like the kid's like popular for the day, and he gets surrounded by everybody, and then the next popular kid comes. And it's like, what are you guys talking about? Like this guy lost one – I mean, even Costa – everyone was saying he's going to fuck up Izzy. Oh, Costa's going to kill him. And then all of a sudden he's a joke and he sucks. And now he's a fat and Ricky Martin and everyone hates. It's like, but what about, he was like 2 fights ago, he was the second coming of Christ. It's like, what are we talking about here? Like, the fuck is wrong with you guys? It's nuts.
So luckily for me personally, it's never affected me that much because even growing up, like I lived on a horse farm and I was on jazz band. So, clearly – just puts you at the top of the hierarchy for high school coolness. But I'm like, not, so I was always friends with everybody, but I was never like the spotlight for anything, which is fine. I just do my thing. And I've been in the UFC long enough where like, I'll have some good fights, but I've never had the spotlight on me. So I don't really care. And like after the Chimaev fight, I think the one thing that saves me is like, I'm a pretty low key person. And I'd like to think I have a decent enough sense of humor. Like I don't get upset if people make fun of me. Like some of them, if I don't think it's funny, I'll just ignore it, right? Because there's plenty, for every person that says something funny, there's 100 guys who are like, fuck you, or they just post like 17 seconds, and I'm like, okay, that took no effort whatsoever. But there was like one guy that was like, there was a guy that was like, Gerald did a really good job avoiding Hamzat's wrestling, and I was like, that's fucking funny. I was like, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, right. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, even MMA Roasted, like the UFC, they hired me to roast fighters. That was the thing. I had no guidelines.
Yeah.
But then I realized very quickly, like, do not make fun of anyone after they get knocked out. I don't make fun of – if somebody loses, I don't make fun of them. Unless it's like Bob Sapp. If Bob Sapp, if someone taps to a double leg, I'm like, all right, I got to make a joke about this. But I'm like, normally if somebody loses, I never –
right.
And I've never posted a meme, somebody getting on the floor because that person could be dead. And it's not funny. Like, even I have things that I just don't do because, number one, I'm like friends with a lot of the people, or like I'm friendly. And number two, it's like you gave it your all and you came up short. But if I do make a joke, it'll be like, yeah, Ben Askren, lost to Jake Paul, but hey, man, he did 95 times better than he did against Masvidal, or like try to put a positive spin on it, where it's like,
yeah. So like I think that's where my niche is, and how I became endearing to some fans, is because like I'll make fun of myself too. Like if it's funny, fucking run with it. Like I even had people like try to come at me all crazy, like, oh, what was it like, what was the fight against Hamza? Like, what was it like getting knocked out? Or like, how'd you feel after getting humbled like that? Or how was the fight? And I'm like, honestly, I don't remember. I was unconscious. I don't know if you saw the fight, but like, after about the first, couple of seconds of it, I don't really remember much, dude. Like, were you not paying attention?
It's funny. I mean, that's funny. But by the way, that fight is like, that fight 9 out of 10 times, that doesn't happen. I don't know if you win. I do think you win. I think you can beat that guy. I think people just haven't, figured out the code to beat him. But from what I've heard, people that train with him, he has a breaking point. And people that have trained with him saying that he's not as good in the gym as he's not this like unbeatable guy, So who knows? You may get
right. And I'm good at finding people's breaking points, but all credit to him. Like, if there's anyone that could like weather a storm or break somebody, I think I'm up on that list. However, look, the dude's really good, right? You know what I mean? I had probably I not only should I have done something different for a game plan, but I executed the game plan I had. Obviously, probably bad as you could possibly do it, right? Get knocked out that fast is like probably an A++ on the fuck up scale. But other than that, like, the guy is talented. He is really good. I've seen a lot of his fights. I've studied him. You know, he's very, very hungry, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It's really hard, and I felt, you know, even when I'm coaching my guys, I tell them this all the time. It's really hard to beat somebody that never fucks up. You know what I mean? So, you know, zigged when I should have zagged, whatever. It could have went differently. It still would have been tough either way.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm always gonna bet on you. It doesn't matter. No matter who you fight. Well, listen, man. Thank you for your time. Honestly, it's an honor. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm a friend of yours, and I really appreciate you, man. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
All right, take care, brother. Have a good weekend.